Good evening, everyone. In today's class, we'll be learning on how to run our scale on all keys. I said earlier in our previous classes that the keyboard has 12 keys. As it basically, you have 12 keys on your piano, and how to identify each note and how to play effectively on all keys. Before I do that, I will explain what a semitone is. A semitone is actually, for example, let me take my key C for as a case study here now. Now, from this note to this note is a semitone. From this note to this note is another semitone. So basically, from here to here is a tone because we have two semitones, one semitone here and one semitone here. So if I'm moving from this note and I'm jumping this note to this note, I'm moving a tone, two semitones. So a semitone is the pitch between this note and this note. So that makes it a semitone. So if I'm moving from here to here is a tone, from here to here is another tone, from here to here you notice that there's no note in between. So here is a semitone, from here to here is a semitone, from here to here is a tone because you can see there's a note in between. From here to here is another complete note, from here to here is another complete note, then from here to here is a semitone. So that we have tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. That's from the key C. From the key C. So from the key C, if I'm running my scale from here, I jump this note. So let's take this note as the space. Okay, to make it easier, let's look at it this way. Between your first chord, do to re, there's a space. Let this note be the space. So between do, re, there's a space. Re, mi, there's a space. Mi, fa, no space. You can see that we have no note in between. So from do, there's a note to re. From re, there's a note to mi. Then from mi to fa, there's no note in between. So this is a semitone now. So it's a tone, tone, tone because there's a note to this place. There's a tone. Now from here to here, note those are this semitone. So it's tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. Is that clear now? So that's that about that. So from your do to your re, there's a note for the space in between. From your re to mi, there's a space. Mi fa no space. Fa to sol space. Sol to la space. La to ti space. Then ti do no space. So take note, it's your mi fa and ti do that does not have a space. So note, it is Tido and Mi Fa that does not have space. Mi Fa, then Tido. So from your Do to Re, there's a space. From your Re to Mi, there's a space. But from your Mi to Fa, no space. Fa to Sol, there's a space. Sol to La, there's a space. La to Ti, there's a space. Then Tido, no space. So with the knowledge of that, you can run your scale on any key. Just notice that your Mi Fa and your Tido is the one that does not have a space. Now let's look at what I just drew here. You can see on your C now, your do to re. Now I took this black key as my space. My re to mi, the space. Mi fa together, no space, which makes this a semitone. Now this is a tone, this is a tone. Now this is a semitone, no space. Another tone, another tone, another tone. Now another semitone. And back to my do again. C again. You can get that. So from do to re, there's a space. From re to mi, there's a space. Mi fa, no space. Then from fa sol, there's a space. Sol la, there's a space. La ti, there's a space. Then ti do, no space. Now let's look at what we just did now. Let's assume I want to run. If I'm running my scale on my C, it is from my C. I have do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. No black keys. Now let's assume I want to run my scale on my C sharp now. That is my first note is on do. So you have do. Now I will take this white key here as my space. There's a space between do and re. So I'm jumping this one now. So if I have do, this is the space. Then this re. And if this is a re. Now the question is there space between re and me? The answer is yes. So if this is re, I take this as my space now. Then this is my me. Are we getting it now? From the beginning. Do space. Re space. Mi. Now you notice that your mi fa does not have a space. So I play the next note to my mi. Can you get it now? Mi fa. No space. Mi fa. It's mi fa and ti do. Don't forget. So from the beginning, do space, re space, mi fa no space. So fa, Fa now, space. So, space. La, space. Ti. Then back to do. From do, space. Re, space. Mi, no space. Mi, fa, no space. Mi, fa. So I move to the next note. I'm not jumping any note again here now. Mi, fa. Then I'm jumping this note. To so, I'm jumping this note. To la, I'm jumping this note. To ti. Now notice that ti, do, there's no space. So I'm coming back to my do. So we have do, re, then space, mi, fa. So it's just basically the same thing, repetition for all keys. So I can, you are the reason, chord 4. Yeah, I'm inverting here. I'm still on do. Over you are the most I using you are singing Jehovah. You are the most I Jehovah. You are. So what I'm just playing is my chord 1, chord 4, the same thing I've been. You are the reason why we are singing Jehovah. You are chord 5 now. Chord 1, 4, back to 1. Now I'm going to 5. So let's take another key as a case study. Let's take key F. Don't forget I told us how to get our key. You know, if this is your C, this is your D, if this is your D, this is your E, if this is your E, then this is your F. So if I'm running my scale on F, what I'm saying is my first note starts from there. So this is my do. Now you know they'll say you have just one black note in key F. So let's get how that came to be. Now from do, this will be the space. Now this note here will be the space. This note will be the space now. Mi. Now notice mi fa does not have a space. That is why I'll play this as my fa. Do you get it now? Do space, re space, mi. Mi fa does not have a space, so I play this fa. So after playing this as my fa, do sorry as fa. So do space, re space, mi, then fa. Then this will be your space now. So your space, la space, ti, then do. You can notice that running the scale from here to here, I only had one black key, which is my fa. Do space, re space, mi, no space, mi fa, no space, space, so space, la space, ti, ti do no space. So your chord 1 here is chord 4, chord 1, chord 5. This is 5. You see this is chord 5. This is do, re, mi, fa. Fa, that's chord 4. Do chord 1, then so chord 5. So with that, you can try it on any key. You just use the space. There's a space between your do and re. There's a space between your re and mi. No space between mi fa. There's space between fa and so. There's a space between so and la. There's a space between la and ti. No space between ti do. With that, you can get your note on any key. Any key is just the same thing repeating. Okay, let's take another one. Let's take F sharp now. So if this is F sharp now, this is my first note. Do. So I'll take this white key here as the space. Do, the next note is what I'll take as my space, isn't it? And this white key here is my next note. Do, the space, re, space. There's a space between re, mi. Then back to do, space, re, space. Then this will be my mi. Then after your mi, then fa. Because there's no space. So after mi, I'm coming to fa. Then I take this as my space. Then I come here. So this is my space. La, space, ti. Then back to do again. So you can actually practice this. In our next class, I'll try to simplify it and make it easier if we've not really gotten it. So please, if you've not subscribed to this YouTube channel, please do so to get more videos on how to be effective in playing. You can see the chart I have here now. This is your key F. You know the key F is the white key behind the 3 black key. That's where your F starts from. So your F, this is your do, your space, re, space, mi. Now no space between mi and fa. That's why I have my fa to be here. Now after fa, this is the space. So space, La space T and Do. So thank you very much. Please don't forget to subscribe. God bless.